What really happened to Jonathan Joss, best known for voicing King of the Hills John Redcorn, and appearing in Parks and Recreation, was shot and killed outside his former home in San Antonio, Texas on Sunday night. Police say Joss and his husband, Tristan Kern de Gonzalez, returned to the property to check their mail, but what they found instead was a chilling reminder of past threats. According to Gonzalez, they discovered the skull of one of their dogs, deliberately placed in clear view. The couple, already grieving the loss of their home in a January fire, broke down in tears. That's when, Gonzalez says, a man approached them and began yelling violent homophobic slurs before pulling out a gun and opening fire. Joss was hit multiple times. In a final act of love, he pushed his husband out of harm's way, saving his life. He died at the scene. This wasn't a random act of violence. According to Joss's husband, it was the horrifying climax of over 2 years of threats and harassment.
Well, first of all, I believe that it's a really common practice for police to investigate themselves and then find out that they did nothing wrong. I think that's a pretty common police tactic. As far as for the SAPD themselves, they're just trying to cover themselves because for, almost 2 years, longer than that, Jonathan and I tried to go through the proper channels, make the reports, and nothing was done or taken seriously. They never cared about my husband while he was alive. So I really don't expect them to do much now. But first and foremost, I think that they are just trying to cover up the fact that they did nothing after repeated pleas for help. And unfortunately, they have a history of that. Jonathan is not the first, nor will he be the last, unfortunately, nor will he be the last person to lose their life because the SAPD won't do their job.
Gonzalez says they reported these threats to law enforcement multiple times, but nothing was done. At first, the San Antonio Police Department publicly stated they had found no evidence the killing was a hate crime. But after growing outrage in Gonzalez's emotional account, Police Chief Bill McManus walked back that statement, admitting it was way premature to rule out bias as a motive. Shortly after the shooting, police arrested 56-year-old Sigfredo Alvarez Ceja, just a block away from the scene. He has been charged with murder, but the case could become even more serious if hate crime motivations are confirmed. In Texas, hate crimes don't carry separate charges. Instead, prosecutors can seek enhanced penalties if they can prove the act was motivated by bias, such as homophobia. That means Ceja could face a much longer sentence if evidence shows this killing was fueled by prejudice. San Antonio police now say they're fully investigating that possibility, and that they're working to present a complete case to the district attorney, one that reflects the context of what Joss and his husband say they endured for years. Meanwhile, the LGBTQ+ community and Hollywood are mourning and demanding accountability. Jonathan Joss wasn't just a familiar voice. He was a trailblazing Native American actor who brought depth and humor to beloved characters for nearly 3 decades. From King of the Hills iconic John Redcorn to Chief Ken Hotate in Parks and Recreation, he brought cultural identity, warmth, and unforgettable presence to every role. Beyond TV, Joss's voice was heard in major video games like Red Dead Redemption, Cyberpunk 2077, and Days Gone, leaving an imprint on gamers worldwide. The King of the Hill creators confirmed Joss had already recorded for the upcoming revival and said, "His voice will be missed." But no tribute was more powerful than that of his husband, who wrote, "He gave me more love in our time together than most people ever get. I was with him when he passed. I told him how much he was loved." The investigation is still unfolding, and with it, growing calls for justice, accountability, and change. As authorities sift through years of complaints and re-examine the arson that destroyed Joss and Gonzalez's home, questions remain. Could this have been prevented? And will the justice system acknowledge the full weight of what really happened? It is a symbol of how homophobia, neglect, and silence can lead to irreversible violence. The LGBTQ+ and Native American communities are rallying around his memory, demanding not just answers, but change. His story is now a call to confront hate head-on, in neighborhoods, in law enforcement, and in the media. As his husband put it, "Jonathan saved my life. Now I'm going to spend mine fighting for the truth."
Right now, with you speaking out, what do you want our viewers to know?
Well, first off, I do want to just say thank you to everyone in the community who has shown so much support and so much love for both Jonathan and myself. I've been getting some really, really, really nice messages from people all over the world, and it's really an honor to see how my husband touched so many people's lives, and it's something that I will always be proud of, and I'm always going to try to honor. I also want people to understand that this was a hate crime. Jonathan was killed not only for being in the LGBT community, but also for being an Indigenous man. And Indigenous people are murdered and go missing at a really, really high rate in this country, but they aren't given enough, not nearly enough media attention. So I do want to continue to speak out on that because that's one of the causes that Jonathan was really passionate about.
Jonathan Joss wasn't just a voice actor. He was a husband, a trailblazer, and a victim of a system that failed to protect him. If this was a hate crime, and the signs are painfully clear, then it cannot be brushed aside. His voice mattered. His life mattered. And now, his death has to matter too.
What basically happened is that I've been dealing with the city of San Antonio for the last 6 months. I've had 4 neighbors basically say that my house is not worth living in. The house is in my name. Since then, they have changed no electricity, no gas. They took everything out. It's been so cold lately that my partner and I have been doing a fire inside to stay warm. Because for whatever reason, the city of San Antonio wants to tear my house down. 4 neighbors, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but your neighbors can say that your house is not worth living in. While I was out of town, it was vandalized. They took wires out, they knocked my pole down. So the city, no electricity, no gas. So in order to stay warm, we did the best we can. I was just told that one of my dogs died. Please, people of San Antonio, you guys need to know that we in Texas and San Antonio lead the number of homes to be demolished. If you have a neighbor that says your home's not worth living in, this neighbor over here has pulled a gun on me 3 different times. An AK-47 he pulled on me, and the court did nothing. The police did nothing. These kind of things happen when people have to do things to stay warm. It was my mistake. We checked over the fire, and we thought there was no fire burning, but evidently it was one that burned. My name's Jonathan. My name is Jonathan Joss. I do film and television. I'm the voice of John Redcorn on King of the Hill. Yes, I'm the voice of John Redcorn on King of the Hill. I have 8 million views with Sylvester Stallone. I'm not saying because of what I do is important, but people need to understand that people are being kicked out of their homes because neighbors don't care. Neighbors will turn their face or they'll say that something's wrong with your house. These people over here, they have kids that live there. They have kids that live in this house, and you can tell the electricity wire's hanging. For whatever reason, I'm coming down on. It's okay. This is a house I grew up in. I'm more concerned about my dog that died. But you know what? The good Lord will protect us. I don't know which one is dead yet, man. They won't let me go in the house. But all I know is that if neighbors want you out of your house, they'll push you out of your house. There's times around here where they say, let it burn. They say negative things about my partner and I. I'm gay, man. And for some reason, the people don't want me here. That's fine. It was my mistake. But this is my house. My house. And I'm going to stay here. I'm going to stay here, or I'm going to sell it to somebody who deserves to live here. If you guys would like to buy this home, buy the property, please, please.
How long have you been living here?
This house was built by my dad in 1957 for my mom. This street has weird addresses. For example, 201 Dorsey If you look at it, they're getting electricity from the other side. It's very interesting, this street. We don't have any sidewalks. We don't have any fire hydrants. The only good fire hydrant is at the end. So for Dorsey to be treated like this, it's not fair. It really isn't.
Did you accidentally?
Evidently I did. It's my fault. You know, or if somebody came in and did something, who knows? My fence is knocked down over here, right where my partner's standing. We came home, that's been knocked down. People get in my house all the time. I turned everything off. But you know what? Who am I to say anything else? This neighbor, again, pulled an AK-47 on me. And the police said there was no witness. You can look at it. It's documented. My witness was standing right there. He was standing, we were in my truck together when he pulled the gun and pulled the trigger. And no one does anything.
Do you come and go from your house, or you're always?
I'm always here. We went to a hotel because it was so cold. For the last couple of nights, I wanted to come home and take care of my dogs. You know, we come every day. We feed the dogs. We leave. We feed the dogs. But mistakes happen, man, and it's my fault for I guess leaving something on.
Where was the fire? Where were you trying to keep warm at?
No, I kept warm in this far left room, you know, and we turned everything off. We went to Guerreros to have some breakfast. At 12 o'clock to have lunch at noon. We turned everything off, but you know, things happen, man. Things happen. But again,
What was it that you were burning that made it happen? Like if it did burn, like what was it? That
oh no, it was mesquite. I had mesquite and I had my propane tank to help, you know, light it up. We turned it off, but you know, things can happen, man.
And that was inside the house?
Yes, sir. Because it's been really, really cold, man. And when you don't have electricity, when you don't have gas, but like I said, they pulled my gas out. They pulled my electricity out. Yes, I was paying for it. What happened was they pulled, the wire got pulled with a high wind, which pulled my loophole down. I called the city and asked them, could you please turn off the electricity so I could straighten my loophole? The guy told me no. So I straightened the loophole out myself. So what did they do? When they raided the house, they said that I worked on it. I was working on the house and working on electricity without a permit. Now, I can understand the electricity, but to do repairs on your house, you have to have a permit? Because I was doing repairs on the house.
What do you think? What was the reason of the fire?
Por pendejo. I left something on, man. That's the only thing I can do. I can't point fingers. You know, and why point fingers? I don't have a job. I don't have children. I'm missing one more dog. But all I know is that if anybody wants to buy a house, wants to buy some property, let me go. Like, needs to buy a home, I will sell it to them at a discount price. Because I want somebody on the street that can get respect back to this street. Not just for me, but for other neighbors. I'm one of the only people on the street that have been here since the beginning. You know, organizations like Leeme, they buy things left and right. Everybody has a good part, everyone has a bad part. Like the old saying says, you got the good wolf and you got the bad wolf. What comes out? The wolf that you feed most. And right now, I'm going to feed the bad wolf because the city of San Antonio has treated me wrong and has treated my partner wrong. And now I get to go find out which one of my dogs is dead.
Where are you going to stay now? Do you have a place to stay?
No, I don't have a place to stay. I'm going to stay here because I got to go see my dog, man. This is my home. I've already had neighbors tell me to leave. They're going to burn my house down, call me a fag, all these different things. But no one's going to say a damn thing because for whatever reason, everyone's sticking together. But you know what? I have fans. I just need one fan out there to understand where I'm coming from. You know, I've posted videos on Instagram. I've posted videos on my TikTok. Videos that don't quite look right. Videos that look like they've been altered. I haven't altered them. Even the judge said that the video that these people provided when they had service said that I wrecked up fence, right? Even my attorney said those films look doctored. So they're going to try to throw that case out. But how do you say I'm knocking down a fence? Look at these fences. They're 8 feet on each side of me. You know, even if they saw something, who's going to see anything? You know, I can't see around the corner. I can't see around that corner. But for far as I know, I didn't know you could put an 8-foot fence. But thank you guys very much.
Whose car is that? Is that your car?
Yeah, that's my Impala. That was my 95 Impala Super Sport. Yeah, man. Things happen, brother. No, it's not gone now. It's still there. All right, guys. Thank you very much.
In the harrowing aftermath of the shooting, Jonathan Joss's husband, Tristan Karen de Gonzalez, shared gut-wrenching details about the actor's final moments, ones that now paint a far more horrifying picture than initially reported. Despite the trauma, Joss was still conscious, his eyes searching for his partner, trying to mouth the words, "I love you." Tristan, overcome with grief, told him how deeply loved he was, holding him as he died. The shooter, Sigfredo Cheja Alvarez, allegedly hovered over them after firing. Kern de Gonzalez claimed Ceja laughed and mocked him, aiming the gun over Tristan while using the Spanish homophobic slur joto, roughly equivalent to the F-word slur in English. Ceja was arrested, just a block away, and reportedly confessed immediately, telling police, "I shot him." But despite this horrifying claim, and a history of alleged harassment, the San Antonio Police Department was quick to state there was no evidence the murder was motivated by bias or bigotry. Kern de Gonzalez strongly disputes this, accusing police of ignoring nearly 2 years of threats and refusing to take their complaints seriously. They're trying to say it wasn't a hate crime. It's like when police investigate themselves and find they did nothing wrong. Drop a comment below. Do you believe enough is being done to investigate this as a hate crime? Share this story, because silence is how hate survives. Subscribe if you want the truth without the filters.